You're listening to the Canadian Women of the Outdoors podcast, the first podcast by Canadian women for Canadian women about Canadian women. Brought to you by Revolution Armory. Join the revolution. And True North Baits, superiority quality fishing tackle. See what the fuss is about. For 10% off all plastics, use code CWO10. Enjoy the episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 23 of Canadian Women of the Outdoors. Super excited for this next guest. If you're watching the YouTube video, you noticed he is not a woman, but with Bass Opener this weekend and my love of supporting local businesses, and this business is actually very important to me because I have a big, really fantastic relationship with this business, and I've had his partner, Miss True North Baits on, so now it only makes sense to have Mr. the man behind the plan, the man of the molds is what I'll call him, Jamie Stothart.
Hey,
I got it right.
That was really good. That was really good. Yeah,
Yes.
most people it's either Stothart or Stothart or. Yeah,
I'm pretty impressed with myself.
That was good.
And I didn't even ask you.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I was like, as I was saying it, I was like, crap. Usually I forget. Usually I ask people how to pronounce your name before I start, but I totally didn't do that with you.
That was perfect. No, for first try, that was well done. Well done.
Perfect. Before we get into everything, how was your Bass Opener weekend? Yours was last week, right?
Yeah. Our zone 17. So we're in zone 17 right now. It was good. We ended up getting out in the kayaks and we hit them pretty good. Yeah. Of course, throwing my favorite, the teaser toad, but no, we haven't been able to get out since, but we well,
I mean, you guys had nicer weather for it last weekend than what we had this weekend.
Yeah, no, this weekend was terrible.
It was soggy. So we got off the water today, and the wind. I'm just lucky we had the anchor. Otherwise, we'd have been blowing all over the lake.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. We're in Fenland where we were. It was just
absolutely brutal. Hopefully next weekend's a little better and we can get back out. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of weekends left, but always got to get out for the opener.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, let's get right into it here. So basic first question, introduce yourself. Where are you from? When did you start getting into the outdoors, fishing? I know you just started hunting, so but fishing, I'm guessing you've done that for quite a long time.
Yeah. I grew up originally in Cobourg, so it was stream fishing. The rainbow trout and brook trout and salmon that run up through the river was kind of my intro to fishing, getting kind of the love of it. My dad took me when I was just knee high to a grasshopper, and I guess that's kind of where it just started. I really enjoyed it, and my passion for it just kind of grew from there. And once I turned 16 and got my license, hey, Mom, Dad, can I borrow the van and head up to Rice Lake was my home lake, being from Cobourg, and that was just kind of it. Once I got a taste of the lake fishing, as opposed to I love stream fishing. It's too busy. It's too, it's changed a lot since, but once I got into the lake fishing, it was just kind of go from there. And that's where my love of bass and walleye just kind of came from. And it just went from there.
So is bass your favorite thing to target then?
Yeah. If you had to give me one fish to target, or one species, if I could have both largemouth and smallmouth, then I'd get a little greedy there, and I would have to say, probably bass would be my number one. But I don't know, walleye's a close number two. I used to guide for walleye, and I love walleye fishing, and normally I typically do pretty good walleye fishing. I do better walleye fishing than I do better than bass fishing on a 1-to-1 basis. But I don't know, it would be maybe 1A and 1B, bass and walleye together. But
where did you guide for walleye? I didn't actually know that about you. Oh, snap. I didn't know that. I
guided year round on the ice and in the boat for Quinny for a couple years, actually. Yeah.
I didn't actually know that. Now, ice fishing or open water?
Ooh.
I know, I'm asking all the hard questions.
I just had to pick one. I would choose ice. I really would. Yeah. I love ice fishing. I really do.
So do I. I'm absolutely the same.
But mind you, when spring comes around, getting out in the boat, when you're getting up on plane and that wind's just, blowing in your face and you got the outboard smell and, it's, season just open, you're ready to hammer some walleyes basically. That's a good feeling too. But now push comes to shove, I'd have to choose ice fishing.
And you had a good ice fishing season. I had a crap ice fishing season, but it seemed like you guys had a decent ice fishing season.
For the amount of times that I got out, it was a fantastic season. But in the whole big bulk, like the big picture, it was terrible. Just like everyone else. Like I got out 5 times, but 3 of those 5 times were in the same week. And the next 2 times were like 2 weeks after. So it was in a span of like maybe a 4-week span, if that I even got out those 5 times. And then that was it, unfortunately. But the 5 times I got out, I did fairly well. And it was only for perch I got out. I wasn't able to get out for anything else. So just 5 trips to Simcoe and the perch cooperated this year.
But I mean, perch is delicious to fill the freezer.
Oh, like you can't beat a perch taco.
Oh, really? Not at all. Like anything per perch.
Perch, crappie, and walleye.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Those. I mean, I do like to eat pike. Anything like I will eat a pike out of the
ice.
ice.
Yeah, pike is really good too. I enjoy pike.
I will definitely. I don't know if I'd eat a pike out of like warm water, but pike through the ice, I would totally eat a pike through the ice. Now you also just recently got into hunting too. Like, what kind of made you get into the hunting side of things?
I've always had an interest in it.
You harvested your first animal this year, correct?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll get into that, but like, kind of how did the hunting start?
I've always had an interest in just and kind of they go, hand in hand. A lot of people do both. And a couple of my best friends growing up, they, dude, you got to get into hunting. You got to get into hunting. You got to get into hunting. But it's like, well, yeah, but prime hunting season is also prime fall fishing season. And so it's like, and a lot of times that, my buddies would be going out for deer as I was going out for walleye. So it's like, but then, I just then I got with Nikki and that was always an interest of hers too. And it's kind of like, hey, like, you want to go and get our gun license? Why not? Like, now's the time where we're kind of getting into everything and able to have access to some land and whatnot. So it's like, that is the hardest thing to really come by when it comes to hunting. Apparently, from anybody I talk to, it's like, oh, you can have all the gear, you can have this and that, but if you have nowhere to go, well, that's kind of the problem. And hunting public land, it's totally doable. But obviously, if you have some private land that you can hunt on, we're fortunate enough to have the farm in the family. So it just we just got into it and. Yeah.
It totally does make a difference when you actually have the property to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I lived in the city, it was hard for me to hunt, but now that I live up north and Caitlin's parents have the farm that we hunt on, like it's fantastic. It's great hunting. And it's a lot easier to hunt up here than it is when you're living like in the GTA.
Oh, like, absolutely. Yeah.
Cause like then you have to, when you're living in the GTA, you got to travel. Like I used to have to travel all over the place if I wanted to hunt. Like,
but you can't beat just walking out in the backyard, right? Like if you're lucky enough to have access like that, then perfect.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now it's into the business side of things. True North baits, it's my go-to plastics. That's all I use. I mean, I have a tackle box full of all your plastics, but as you know, I just usually just use sticks. Caitlin always makes fun of me. She's like, Nicole, you have this massive thing, and all you use are those goddamn sticks. I'm like, but I catch fish on them. So
hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like,
right?
If they work. Like that's where a lot of it lies with confidence too when it comes to fishing. Like,
well, and I mean, I know how to work a stick really well now.
And that's the other thing. Like if you're not used to a technique or used to a certain way to fish, like you can grab a drop shot, but if you're not comfortable with it, like you'll get frustrated fairly quickly. And then you won't get, oh, you know what? I should just be throwing my stick or whatever. So
that's usually what happens. I'll be like, I'm going to try something else
with confidence, but that's what it just boils down to. You know what? Whatever technique, this is what I did with drop shot. I only brought the one rod with me in a drop shot setup. I'm like, I've seen this technique done. These guys catching smallmouth with it. And I was at a provincial park. And I was like, it was known for having some smallmouth. And I was like, that's it. I'm like, I'm only bringing this rod. I'm forcing myself to do it all day. And geez, within the first 5 minutes, I hooked a massive smallie. And that was it. The moment he came out of the water, I'm like, drop shot. I'm like, yep, drop shot. Like, just all I'm using now. When it comes to smallmouth, I said, this is pretty much all I'm using. And that's pretty much all I do up to now. Like for when it comes to smallmouth, like I'll throw the Ned the odd time, but drop shot is where it's at. But like Nikki, for example, she's not comfortable with the drop shot yet, and she doesn't have the confidence to do it. Whereas the Ned rig, oh man, she smokes fish on the Ned rig all day. So it's just a confidence thing. And whereas I don't get as many bites on a Ned rig as I typically do on a drop shot, so I'm gonna throw the drop shot. So
exactly, yeah, you're gonna work with works best for you.
Exactly.
So where did True North Baits like kind of come from? Like where did this brainchild of yours? Because this is all you do now, right?
Oh yes, yep. Yeah, I've been at it full time. I think this is my entering my fourth year or third year. I can't even remember, like full time at it. But honestly, the business itself just it was a fluke. I had zero plans on making a business. I've always enjoyed soft plastics. I've always had like a thing for soft plastics. Like I prefer over anything else, really.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just kind of started like it was COVID, and I was working for a school board, and they were basically shut down for the summer. And I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm going to pour some baits. I just always really wanted to do it. So I was like, I'm just going to grab a mold or a two and grab a jug of plastic and just try it. Just, just to make literally just making baits for myself was all my plan was. Like I went through so many topwater frogs. I was like, I'm getting sick of buying topwater frogs. I'm like, why don't I just try to find a mold and just make my own topwater frogs? So that's where it kind of started. And then it was like, oh, well, that's cool. I showed a couple of buddies. Oh, well, like, can you make me sticks? Can you make me something else? I was like, well, I could, like, but again, I was bored, and it was like, okay, sure. So I grabbed another mold, and it just literally snowballed from there. A few, Facebook ads later, and all of a sudden it was like, oh wow, like, you know what, like people could, there might be some demand for something like this. So I was like, okay, like, and me having the IT background, because I worked in IT at a school board, and I was like, oh well, like I can have a website up literally in a day, like the next day. So yeah, October 1st, I think 2019, TrueNorthBaits.com went live, and it just kind of went from there. Like I did it on the side for the first little bit. And then I just got to the point where I was working all day for the school board and coming home to so many orders and working all night. It was like, it was starting to take its toll on me, and I just couldn't keep up. And we have 5 kids between us too. So it's like working full time, coming home and working full time, and trying to keep, a balance of the home work balance as well. It was like, something's got to give here. And I guess it just boiled down to the typical cliche, you only live once scenario for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, this has been something that I'd love to have done. And I almost had the chance to do it a while ago with actually purchasing another company. And it's like, that one kind of stung. And I was like, I was so close to, being able to, get back into the industry and because I like, my passion and my love in life is fishing. So it's like, I had a great job. I loved my job. I really did. I loved my job at the school board. But it came down to the point where it had to be one or the other. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's do it. Like, why not? I'm like, high risk, high reward. Like I gave up a lot, pension benefits, all that kind of stuff to chase this dream basically. And luckily for me, it just kind of worked out. Like I just kind of got my baits into the right people's hands. And like I have been in the industry before, so I did have some contacts, some key contacts in the industry, and I got my baits into their hands, and they saw that they were, pretty decent quality, and it literally just kind of snowballed from there. Especially when it comes to ice fishing, like our ice fishing stuff just took right off, like crazy, took right off, and that's kind of what like put us on the map. And then all of a sudden, people realized that we don't just do smaller glow panfish kind of, or lake trout, that type of thing. We do bass, we do walleye, we have pike, we pretty much have anything for any species you want. But it literally just kind of snowballed into, and just listening to what people wanted was basically how we've kind of grown into what we have. And I took an inventory last week, and we have, I think it was 43 or 44 different plastics that we offer, like different shapes, different baits. And I was just like, holy crap, like I didn't even think it was that many. But it's just listening to the customers. Like, it's, oh, we need a leech, we want this, we want a Helgramite, we want this, we want that. I was like, okay, like, cool, so why not?
And it's actually crazy to see how you have grown, because like when I first came around and started looking at you guys, like there was only like I think 5 or 6. There was not as many as you have now. Like you only had a few, and you had I think one t-shirt and like one hat. And now just to see like in like the 3, 4 years, whatever, since I've been around, like it's crazy. You guys have developed and grown so much. Like all your merch is amazing. Like that t-shirt,
the apparel, like even like especially like these ones, like the MILF ones have just been crazy. But yeah, the merch is, especially at the shows, like when we do in-person shows, like the merch is just you can't keep enough in stock. Like I had to make so many trips to our hat people. And they're in Coburg, so they're 25 minutes away. So like I've had to order in hats and like rush them in and just be like, please, can you please have them in time for the sportsman show? Like, because we got hammered at the what show did we do earlier than that? The
ice fishing show.
We got hammered at that, and then we just didn't really have lots of stock left for the sportsman show. So it's like, oh geez, like.
And then CanCast was shortly after that too.
And then CanCast, we had 3 shows in 4 shows in 3 weeks, I think it was.
Yeah.
3 shows in 4 weeks, one of the two. But it was just like the spring was just insane, and the apparel just took right off, which was kind of a surprise to us how much it, or how well it did. So again, we just kind of rolled with it. Like
the amount of Wonder Bread hoodies I saw at the sportsman show made me so happy. Like they are honestly the most
awfully beautiful thing.
It's like, it's so hideous, but you absolutely love it. Like it's just,
I say it's basically the Don Cherry of hoodies, right? You love it or you hate it. There's really no, it's like, oh, it's okay. It's like, that's amazing, I want one. Or it's like, oh God, no. Yeah. But the amount of people that like the non-fishing people, it's always like the people who are, drug along to the shows with the people, but like, oh, is that polka dot door? I'm like,
no.
Really? Oh, is that Twister? I'm like, okay, fair enough. I said, I get the Twister, like but I'm like, no, I'm like, it's Wonder Bread.
It's like the best plastic for ice fishing.
Yeah. Like if you know anything about ice fishing, I'm like, Wonder Bread is the color.
Yes.
And that's obviously where the shirts have come from and just kind of taken off to is the Wonder Bread color. But yeah, they're you love them or you hate them. It's one of the two, but I love it. So I wear mine all the time. I love it.
Oh yeah. It's fantastic. I have one. It's great. I love it. So how does like the mold and pouring process work? Like, do you make the molds or order them, or like
both? We've done a mixture of both. Like we've custom designed 8 baits of our own, which is using a custom CNC machinist, and you send them a drawing and you work with them and they do it all in CAD and then cut the molds out themselves. And it's like, they're pretty intense things. Like the mini mayfly mold that I have, actually it's right here. Each side, so this is one side, so each side of this mold took 23.5 hours.
Oh my God.
On the CNC machine to do.
Jesus.
Yeah, so like and the smaller you get, the more delicate they have to go, the slower you have to go too, right? So it's a lot more labor intensive and time intensive, but you can also go the other end, and you can go online and order them through like either a generic brand, which has a whole bunch of different ones, or there's like small businesses like mine that's what they do. So they're CNC machinists and they have what they offer, and you just order rate from them, and they have the machine and they send them out and within a couple of weeks type of thing. But no, all of our molds are a mixture of both custom design ones and ones that you can just purchase.
And the pouring process, you will do all that in house, right?
Yeah. Everything is done by us. Like we order in all the raw plastic, all the coloring, all the flake, all the scents, and then in combination with the molds, obviously. So we heat up the plastic. So the bare plastic, the raw plastic, basically looks like milk. It's just a white substance. Like, it's not clear. It's completely white. It almost looks like liquid, like glue or something.
Okay.
And you heat it up, and in the heating process, it clears it. So you have to initially heat it up to like 350 degrees to get whatever the chemical reactions in the plastic are to make it realize when it cools down, it solids, like it forms up.
Mm-hmm.
So initially heat it up, and then you add your scent, you add your color, you add your glitter or flake or whatever you want. And then you basically suck it up with like a turkey baster kind of thing, put it in the hole of the mold, and push the plastic down into the mold. Then you only have to let it sit for 35, 45 seconds, and it firms up enough that you can take it out, hang it up to dry on our pegboard wall here, and then off you go again, shoot another one. So the process itself is, it's fairly self-explanatory, but you do have to have the right equipment to do everything.
And is it special scent that you put in there? It's definitely, it's a very strong scent. My eldest apparently loves it. She was huffing my baits when she was organizing my tackle box. She's like, these smell so good. And I'm like, oh, it's actually the worst part about
with
them.
Most people it's usually it's an acquired smell, right? Like now, like it I love it. Obviously, like I come down in the shop after like I've poured for a bunch. It's like, I could just love it. But it's funny because Nikki, when I first started out in the barn, I remember literally the first batch of baits I was pouring, she got off of work and she pulled up into the driveway and she came walking, and she was 20 feet from the barn. She's like, oh my God, what the heck is that? I'm like, well, it's the scent that we're using. So
oh my God,
it's definitely like you said, it's quite potent. Like, it's a garlic and crayfish mix is what we use for the most part. But it's something else. Aromatic, I guess you could say.
It's something else. As soon as you open up the packaging, when you get it, you're just like, whoa, that's a package from True North Baits. Yeah. Like, I haven't even opened the actual baits themselves yet. It's just what you send them in, like the whatever postal crap. I'll open it and I'll be like, oh yeah, there it is. Whoa.
It's good.
So, like, what kind of sets your plastics apart, like, over others? Like, what's kind of like your big, like, this is why you should use us?
Well, for one, we use the best plastic that isn't the elastic stuff, because the elastic stuff is great, but you can't really reuse it to anything. So it's, once it's not recyclable, like we do our little recycling program, but like,
yes, explain that once you're done that, because that's amazing.
But we use the best, normal soft plastic that you can use, and you can really tell. Like, I took my baits to a very popular retail store, and just to show them, and literally he took them out of the package and he stopped dead. He's like, whoa, like, hold on. And one of his best customers, a big tournament guy, was actually in the back of the store, and he's like, hey man, come here. And he grabbed me. He's like, holy, he goes, that's nice. He goes, I have so many people that come in here making their own baits, claiming to make their own baits. And he goes, what they hand me is, it's, subpar. He goes, but honestly, he goes, this is nice. Like, this is nice. And I was like, I said, I did my research before I got into it. And like, I went with the brand that is known to be the best in the industry. And that's one thing that, in my opinion, sets us apart from maybe some of the bigger brands, because the mass produced ones, I know for a fact that they're not using the same brand that I am.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. But I think what really sets us apart is the ability for us to do the custom colors and like the bulk orders and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can't just approach Berkeley and say, hey, like, can I get a couple packs of your worms in Bullfrog? Like, you just can't do that with a bigger brand. But the smaller bait makers like myself, like, you can contact us and say, hey, like, it'd be really cool. Like, or if it's a discontinued color from a big brand that you can't get anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, catcher. And I'm like, I'll see what I can do. And I've had plenty of orders that have come through, and like, I've matched a discontinued or a current color, because like, I also kind of am a lot cheaper than a lot of the big brands as well. So I think that is also a big player in it too. So if you can provide a good quality bait at an affordable price, like, you can't go wrong with that. Like
no.
And anybody who tries the baits loves the baits. Like it's honestly, the only complaint we have is shipping, is the shipping time or a lost package or something like that. Like we never ever get complaints about quality or anything like that, because we use top quality stuff in everything we do, even when the hooks we pour, and my favorite for walleye, the bucktail spin.
Yeah.
Like they're Gamakatsu hooks. I'm not going to mess around with, little like mustache or anything like that. They're okay. But like, no, we want top quality stuff. So we go with owner hooks. We go with Gamakatsu hooks. We go with the best plastics. Like we go with good quality stuff. And that's what we're aiming to be known for, is, good quality stuff for somewhat of an affordable price compared to everything else. I think we pretty much beat every brand in most things when it comes to pricing. So and listening to the customer, I think, sets us apart. Like a lot of companies said, like people would kind of, can you think about doing a bait like this? And if it's not something that interests them or they wouldn't use, perhaps they might not even just, they might just, okay, no, back burner. But no, like the Hellgrammite bait. Like I had multiple people come to me and say, like, if you could do a Hellgrammite bait, like there was only one available. And I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
So I drew one up, and that was one of our customs that came out, the Hellgrammite, and it's amazing, like the Hellion. And like it was just listening to multiple people and what they wanted. And the big one for us was the 6-inch tube. Like we went to the Winnipeg ice fishing show 2 years ago, so not last year but the year before, and we only had 4-inch tubes and below. And the people were like, oh, like we because I left a couple samples there on the table, and they felt like, oh, this feels so awesome. Like, do you have a 6-inch? I was like, do you have a 6-inch? Do you have a 6-inch? I was like, okay. So I literally took out my phone, sat down, boom, like there we go. Just ordered 2 6-inch molds, and that has been insane. The amount of 6-inch tubes that we sell is incredible. Like you can see there's the tubes behind me, and it's really bare.
Yeah.
Like, I just came back from being away for the weekend, and with all the Amazon orders, like our stock just goes right down. So
yeah, and you are on Amazon now too. Like
yeah, Amazon
that's
is
huge.
insane. It's insane. It's a
is.
whole different monster in itself. Like it gets tricky to keep up with it, just being the two of us, and juggling the kids and whatnot. So it can get tricky, especially when we try to take any time to ourselves. Like you come back to, like I came back to 32 orders, and that was only since Friday. Like it was just crazy. So it's like, oh, but yay, no complaints. Like it's been a dream come true. Honestly, it wasn't a plan. It just kind of fell into place, and I couldn't be more thankful. Like I wake up every morning and be like, this isn't like, come on, this isn't what I do. Like, this is amazing. Like it literally is a childhood dream come true. And I couldn't ask for more. Literally, I couldn't.
And I mean, it's amazing that like you can do something like full time, like that you love to do, that you're passionate about, and you're really good at it. Like, again, I've been using your baits for however long now, and I never want, like, I never not have luck with them. Like I don't, like they work. Like they're good quality, they work. And your recycling program, which I have so many to send back to you.
Yeah.
They're just in a
we
bag
offer,
chilling,
speaking of that, you wanted me to go into a little bit more detail, but we offer a recycling program. Now it's just with our plastics, because again, I don't know where the other plastics have come from, or if there's some of the elastic ones in there, because and some of the other brands they don't really remelt back down very well. But yeah, if you have a bunch of torn up baits or whatever, like used baits, don't throw them out. Like keep them in a Ziploc bag. Like they mean nothing to you. They're just trash, right? But you can turn that into brand new baits from us at like basically half price, like 40% off. Yeah. So like you send all of your stuff back, and whatever you send back, you let us know what baits you want them in, like what shapes you want them in, and we can repour them and send them to you back. And it's basically in the works color. And honestly, the Works is one of the best colors that we offer, especially when it comes to largemouth and the frog. Like the Works frog is lights out.
Okay, so on that note, then, what is your favorite like bait go to for like your fish? Like, what do you go to for your walleye, for your bass? Like, what are your favorite go tos?
Definitely the largemouth bait is the toad. It's killer. Honestly, it's and so many people don't really, they're intimidated by it, and I'm not sure why. Like, oh, I've never really fished the, that type of, like, it's a buzz frog basically. It's not like a hollow belly where you cast it out and you just let it sit, you twitch it and let it sit. This is meant to be reeled across the surface, and the legs are kicking and they're leaving a nice big bubble trail, and it's literally a soft plastic buzz bait, but it's weedless. Okay. So it's a soft plastic weedless buzz bait you can throw through literally anything. You throw it in the pads, you can throw it in the thick stuff, over wood, open water. Like, I don't know if they think it's maybe bait fish scurrying across the top, because it's a reaction strike when they hit this. They're not getting a good look at it, but they just look up and see a profile and see some commotion going on, and they have a split second to decide. And trust me, when they hit these things, like, they hit them. They will engulf the whole thing. It'll scare the crap out of you a lot of the times. But
I like a topwater bite is like fantastic.
You can't get any better catching a largemouth than on topwater. Like, yeah, I would argue with anybody that all day. Like, there's the flipping guys that love catching them flipping, like, and I appreciate that, I really do. But topwater, how can you not get, like, your heart just whoa when you see that great big explosion, right?
Oh yeah. Like, that's like, yeah, I love my sticks, don't get me wrong, but like when I do top water and they hit on top water, it's like, whoa, that was fucking cool. Like, because they hit it hard, and then they just like the big splash and everything like that, and it's so much fun.
Oh yeah, you can't beat a topwater. Walleye, I haven't caught more walleye on a single bait than the bucktail spin. It's dynamite. Like, you can fish it. It's so versatile. You can fish it in so many different ways. The main two are just slow rolling it. That's mostly what I do. It seems to produce, no matter, like, it was our first walleye trip, very first cast, schmack. Our second walleye trip, second cast, schmack. Like, it's almost like you can call your shots. You pull up to a weed line, it's like, oh, I can feel it. Whack. Like, it's crazy. Like, honestly, the bucktail spin is, when it comes to walleye. And
that's got a blade on it, right?
Yep. It's an underspin head.
Yeah.
On, again, a Gamakatsu tied bucktail fur on it. And we can do these in custom colors as well. Like, I've got basically every color under the sun that you can think of, and you contact us and say, hey, I want one with a purple top and a pink bottom. No problem. Like, any color combination you want. So we take custom orders not only in plastics, but also in we do straight hair jigs as well, without the underspin head. But it does the trick. The spin just drive the nuts. And from what I've been hearing so far since the bass season has opened, is that a lot of people are doing very, very well on smallmouth with the underspin heads as well, so early in the season. Like, I know they're a very popular bait as the summer progresses, and it gets a little bit, the water temperature goes up a bit, but apparently they've been doing quite well with them as well. So I haven't really given this a shot with smallmouth, but when it comes to walleye, that's hard to beat. But one I am very excited to try this year is our new revamped Little Ripper. It's got the smaller, like, slim profile to it. Yeah. Oh, like, I've tried it on 3 different species and caught the 3 different species so far on it.
And like, that's the Ned rig?
No, this is on one of our vision heads, the jig head.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's basically just a swim bait head, or a swim bait body on just a regular old jig head. So it's super easy to fish, cast it out, reel it in. But we've got brook trout on it since using it, largemouth and walleye. So it's dynamite, and we can do them in custom colors. Like, this is the herring color, so it's got the black top with the clear belly on it. Yeah. And this is it looks just like a minnow going through. You got the great big eye that they focus on, nice slim body through. Like, this is it's going to be a killer, especially for smallmouth. But like I said before, I'm a drop shot guy. So my go-to is this is the first custom bait we designed, actually, the Invader.
Oh, yes.
Took a Sharpie and just dotted the eyes in. So it makes it look even more realistic. Especially, this is the T&B Goby color. So it's got the brown top with the white belly.
Yeah.
And this is probably my go-to drop shot. If I had to just pick one, it would probably be this one, but I do use a lot of we offer a few different finesse baits for a drop shot.
Yeah.
And I do use a mixture. I don't typically stick with one bait, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be the Invader. Because you can use it in a few different senses. If you can use it in the Goby color to mimic a Goby, or if you do it in straight black, it's got the slim, long profile, and it even looks like a leech as well.
Okay.
You can do it in a few different ways, and you can Ned rig that as well. It doesn't just have to be drop shot, but that's what Gobies are, right along the bottom, right? So you just give it some hops as you're going along, and it just looks like a feeding Goby. What else? Oh, the mini Mirage Minnow is also killer. The 4-inch one does really well too, but I seem to do a little bit better on the smaller version of it. These are also killer.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably my go-tos when it comes to, if I had to go with one, it would be that type of thing. But honestly, like, pretty much everything we offer it's going to work on the species that you're targeting.
Yeah.
When it comes to ice fishing, the small, like the mayflies and the mini mayflies, lights out.
Fire.
We custom designed those from what the perch and Simcoe were spitting out for us in our hands, and they were burrowing mayfly nymphs. And we actually, there was one this winter that spit one out for us that was almost like perfect. So I set it down. I should get you that picture and show you that picture, but I set it down on a white background right beside our Goby bling color in it. And like people thought that they were real. Like, are those the meat? Are those the meat? Oh, where'd you get those? Like, they thought they were like, I was using live bait. And I was like, no, I said, like, the one in the middle is the actual mayfly. But I said, the one above it and the one below it are our mayflies that we make. And they were like, oh my God. Like, I thought they were real. Like they're
lost you there.
Now you're getting me talking about ice fishing.
Oh, hang on one second. I think I lost you there. You there?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I thought I lost you. We're getting close to time there, but I got one more question for you. So if somebody was just starting out on a budget, new to fishing, what kind of would be your, like, okay, you need like these packs in your tackle box as like a generic, like this will catch this, like kind of like a generic bang for a buck type thing. Like what would your recommendations?
Well, honestly, when you said that, and like if they're kind of new and they don't really know anything, another thing that actually a lot of people utilize is they just contact us and say, listen, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, can you put a package together for me for bass and for $60? And they trust my judgment in putting together. So I typically ask what areas they'll be fishing, and be like, oh, okay, well, I think this bait in this color and this should work. So we also offer that. Like, if you really don't know, you can just send us a message and say, listen, like, this is my budget. I'm going here for the weekend and I'll be targeting walleye. Like, what are your recommendations? Like, send me your best. And we do a lot of kind of custom orders like that too. But really,
another
like, you can't go wrong with, like, obviously sticks. If you're targeting bass, like, that's arguably the best catching bait ever. Like, you can't go wrong with sticks. I would highly recommend the frog, but it all depends on the equipment you have as well. Like, kind of with the frog, you kind of need a little bit heavier set equipment because of where you're typically throwing it. But sticks, and like swim baits, like our big size, like the normal size ripper, the 3.5, or the mini. Like you can't go wrong with a swim bait, because again, they're baits that you hook on, you throw it, and you reel in. Like you don't have to be able to be, oh, I can't tell, is that a bite? Is that a bite? Like you can tell when something smashes a swim bait. And really, like bucktail spin, again, it's the same kind of swimming motion, and it's a multi-species bait. Like I've got pike, bass, a lot of walleye on it, some jumbo perch on it, crappie love it. Like it's just any kind of bait that you can kind of, a multi-species type of bait that you can get away with, instead of having to have 20 different things lined up. You can if you're targeting walleye and smallmouth, perhaps you throw your swim baits or things like that, but just keep it simple. Really, like, let's be honest, fish they're not smart. Like the hardest part about fishing is finding them. Once you find them, they're typically fairly easy to catch. So don't overthink it. Don't try to, don't fall into the fads that, are on YouTube and, oh, this is how the pros are catching. Yeah. Well, again, the pros are running every thing under the sun that you can think of to give them the advantage. Like it's not just as simple as, oh, well, they're using this bait. So they're like, so it's just keep it simple. Go with the baits that can be, easily fished. You can tell when there's a fish that hits them. You don't have to be ultra finesse. Just things like that, really. And like we have a clearance section on the website, and like dirt cheap baits, like literally baits start at like $3 a pack for like the bass size stuff, and like $2 or $1.99. I think actually right now the mayflies are on sale for $1.99. So like it's, if you're on a budget, check out the clearance section, check out the sales, and again, try to make baits, squeeze as much out of them, try to get as many different species out of one different bait that you can, if you're on a budget. But yeah, by all means, if they don't know, or if they're new and they have no clue, then reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you or point you in any direction and set you on the way to hopefully catching fish. And there's nothing more satisfying for us than having a new angler, or any angler for that matter, use our stuff and send us a picture with a great big smile on their face, like, or my daughter just caught her first fish on your bait, or I took my son's ice fishing for the first time, and oh my goodness, like, thank you so much for, like, that is, you can't get better than that when it comes to what we're doing. Like it's awesome. So yeah, like it's just, the whole thing has just been, like I said, just been a whirlwind of craziness, and like pinch me every day type of thing. But it's people like you that have taken a chance on the little guy, and and have we've been able to keep a great relationship moving forward.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I help you whenever you can, and you help us whenever you can, and that's what it is. Like the industry is small enough that there's too much competition in it. There's too much oh, I don't use that, you just, like, it's such a small industry. Like let's all just help each other out. Like there's so many great local brands now. Like it's amazing. Like there's awesome brands right around the corner from you. Like you don't have to order from the great big companies anymore. Like you can literally, like around Southern Ontario, there's probably 10 or 20 different bait makers, anything from soft plastics to musky spinners to whatever, to salmon spoons, to everything. Like there's so much local. So like support small business. Like it's it's what's keeping everybody afloat. Like as much as you can, try to support the local guy, because it's tough. It's tough to make a living in this industry when and it's sales, really. It is what it is. But but again, like I said, we've had a tremendous support. Like it's been crazy, actually. Like the amount of people that have reached out and just said, like, or the people that come to the shows and say, like, we've been following you from day one, and it's just awesome to see. And it's like, hearing that is just like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Like but we have come a long way, and we're coming up to a phase in our life where there's going to be a big change, and that is also going to be very beneficial for the business itself. So it's going to put us in a way better location when it comes to even having access to a bunch of lakes to go to. And it's going to give us a lot more space to work with, and who knows where we go and what we come up with from there. But yeah, there's we got no plans on slowing down, that's for sure. We've got a couple shows coming up, one in August, I think it is, or September, and then the ice fishing show again in November. So it's full steam ahead. We're, there's no slowing down for us. So again, thank you to you and everyone else that has, supported us along the way, because we can't even express what it means to us. And it's been awesome.
Well, like I've said from day one, your plastics are bar none. And I've used other plastics before. I've used other sticks, but one cast and they're in half. I can get a bunch of fish out of one stick. It's pretty durable.
That was kind of my goal with the sticks, because everybody makes a stick. You can get a stick anywhere from anybody. So it's kind of but it comes down to a durability thing for me. Whenever I've used them, it's the same thing. I got the big brand names, and they're awesome. They have fantastic action and they work very well. But it could be a small fish that just grabbed the tail and you set it and oh shoot, it ripped in half. To me as a consumer, that's a turn off. So it's I want something that would last at least, more than one fish, or more than just a tail grab type of thing. But no, it's just been awesome. And, thank you very much for having me on here. This is great.
I love my thing again with this podcast. Yes, it started as supporting women and showcasing women, but again, I'm a huge, huge supporter of small local businesses, and I will never, ever stop doing that. If you can buy Canadian and local, that's what you're going to be doing. Especially after COVID and stuff like that. And so many small businesses went under.
Yeah.
It's no. We're going to support what is homegrown in Canada here. That is the point. Yeah. But anyway, we're definitely at our time mark here. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I really appreciated learning about the process on how you do it all. I am thinking you had to let the bait sit for an hour, 2 hours before they were ready to pull. So I learned something new tonight. So that's really awesome.
And we should, once we get things set up in our new shop, you mentioned doing kind of an in-person one that we can do an actual how-to. This is video, how we do it type of thing. So I think a lot of people would be interested in seeing the the how it's made of T&D.
Do an how it's made video. I like that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. That's it for this episode. Next week, we've got another episode. It's going to be my birthday episode, released on July 1st, which will be my birthday. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks again, Jamie.
Thank you.